This is Ian with Build Brothers. Going to go ahead and do my digital inspection here at 1722 San Pasqual Road in Escondido. Going to start here underneath the eaves, and what we're always looking for is any kind of dry rot, termite damage, or wood damage of any kind underneath the eaves. Usually tells us that the roof is having issues. This home appears to be really well maintained. It's got a fresh coat of paint, and so any kind of damage that has occurred to any of these rafter tails or starter board is all hidden by a fresh coat of paint. And honestly, it all looks pretty darn good. This little screened off vent is what's called intake ventilation. It allows cool air up into the attic space, and then there'll be rooftop vents to allow hot air out. But this is a good sign that there is these little screened off vents to allow that attic space to breathe. We've got very, very new gutters. Those look great. Always suggest gutters on a home. And then above the gutters, that little brown piece right there is called drip edge. That's a good sign that the roof has drip edge. And then the terracotta piece of metal is called bird stop. Again, a good sign that the roof does have bird stop. And that actually looks fairly new, that bird stop. And so we'll look at some more details, but all of those are good indicators that this roof is not that old and should have plenty of life left in it. Let's go ahead and jump up on the roof and see what we can tell up there. This roof is commonly mistaken as clay, but it's actually a concrete tile. And this concrete tile does last a long time. This shape has a very common chip that happens on the corners there. We'll see that again and again around this roof. If that chip is small enough, then it doesn't compromise waterproofing. If it gets really large, then it does begin to compromise waterproofing. There are some things I like about this roof, and there are some things I definitely don't like about this roof. So this shape of tile is commonly referred to as Malibu tile, and it's a low profile S tile. It should last 2 roofs, basically. So my theory is that 1959 construction, this house went through its original roof, then they put the tile on it, and roughly 10 to 15 years ago, they replaced, or they did what's called a lift and reset, where they reused the tile for another roof. And so these valleys look good. There's valley metal in there, and we've got the appropriate gap in the valley to allow debris and water to rush through there. If this roof was 30 plus years old, those tiles would be nearly touching in the valley, and that clogs the valleys and tends to create problems in the future. These tiles are full weight, meaning they're pretty strong. I've been walking around up here for a couple minutes and have not broken any, and have found a handful of broken ones, but that is pretty common on a concrete tile roof. See, there's another chipped corner there, and we'll see that time and time again around this roof. This roof vent is called an O'Hagan vent, and they put the appropriate amount of O'Hagan vents to meet modern day codes. Those are going to allow the attic space to breathe. In the summertime, we want our attics to breathe to keep the house cool. And in the wintertime, we want to get moisture out of there. So those are very important. Those replace the old-fashioned whirlybirds and things like that. And so, again, if this roof were 30 years old, it wouldn't have these O'Hagan vents. These have only been popular for, the last 15 years or so. We've got some serious problem issues or problem areas over on this side of the roof. So I'm looking down at the plywood. This is this style of roof that dives in like that and then goes down. It always creates issues on tile roofs, and we've got a major issue, an active leak. It's probably not showing in the house because it's on the overhang, but the overhang is rotting here, and so there is a big repair that needs to happen here. Something's going on the chimney. We can see that a whole bunch of mastic has been applied here. If the flashing is done properly, there should not be any mastic or any mortar there. And so that all needs to be taken apart and redone properly to make sure it stays waterproof a long time. Chimney cap's got a spark arrestor up there. That's nice. The patio cover roof is torched down. The material itself still has plenty of life left in it, but unfortunately it wasn't done properly, and so it's bad. It's leaking and needs to be replaced. We first saw these big wrinkles, and the wrinkles hold water, and if the roof is holding water, sure enough, it's going to leak. Then we noticed that the material wraps over the edge, and so sure enough, it was just laid on top here, and so yeah, this is unfortunately not waterproofing the patio cover. And the patio cover still feels like it's in good shape. I actually did not walk underneath it. Doesn't feel any soft spots, but the roof has to go. We've got our drip edge. We've got our bird stop back here. That all looks good. This stagger right here. So there's a tile seam. There's another tile seam. If this roof were 30 years old, they used to line those seams up, which is not the way we do it nowadays. Solar install looks pretty darn good, looks professional. I haven't found any major issues there. The tile hooks that we still use those today. This tile had slid down. It wasn't actually exposing the paper, but there was never a nail in that tile, and so it wasn't held in place. But I wanted to take a look at the felt, at the waterproofing underlayment that's underneath the tile to get an idea of age of this roof. And you know, it's dirty, but it is still in fairly good shape, and so I think this roof should get another 10 plus years of good life, with a tune-up and some substantial repairs around the chimney and that area over there on the end of the roof that I already pointed out. I'll go ahead and slide this tile back in place. You can see where it was sitting by that dirt line there. And so I just was able to slide it out of place. So not a ton of chipped corners, but the more we look, the more we find. And it's very common with this tile that when a chip gets that big, it does compromise the waterproofing, because we can see a tiny little area over there where water's going to get through there, and now it's on to the underlayment underneath the tile. The tile isn't what actually waterproofs a roof. It is the felt underneath it. And so it's important that the tile be installed properly, but it's also important that the felt be in good condition. Another one there, and more there. So there's probably, I don't know, 30 tiles on this roof that I would replace. All of the flashings on this roof are metal. If this roof was original, there would be what's called mortar flashings, and it's a cement or concrete product that is piled up around each of these roof penetrations. And so the fact that all of these flashings are metal is a good sign. What else? I don't think I found anything interesting over here, except there's our electrical penetration for our solar. That looks good. And then the old riser, which is the one on the right, was the old electrical service that came to the house. You can see those wires just dangling there. That should have been deleted and just gone away. And then the galvanized one is for the new electrical service that was probably done when the solar was installed. Valleys look good over here. I think I found one more. Oh, there's another corner that's broken. So yeah, it's probably 50 tiles that need to be replaced. It's always, the more we look, the more we find kind of thing. That one would not be replaced. When it's that small, the waterproofing is not compromised. But that one there, that's allowing water down to the felt. There is some funky stuff where, you know, all the edges of those tiles should line up nicely. So if I'm nitpicking the workmanship of the roofer that did this roof, it's not great. But that valley looks good. All those flashings look good. They're all painted to match the roof. So there are some highlights. Broken tile there. That one needs to be replaced. So I don't necessarily want to say that this roof has to be replaced, but to make sure it gets its full life out of it, there are some repairs that need to take place, and that needs to be replaced immediately.